Hello dear people, it's Metwaly again. Today I want to talk about another experience that I have made along the way. And why I want to talk about it is because I have the strong feeling it's very strong connected to that dragon energy, to my role as a dragon shaman, as a wisdom keeper. So I don't want to keep that wisdom anymore, you know, I did that, we all did that, somehow, of everyone these concerns, you know, but I decided to share wisdom. So I need to say a few things about wisdom. So in my opinion, what is this wisdom about? What is wisdom? In my opinion, wisdom is knowledge connected with love, because wisdom cannot only be knowledge, because knowledge is knowledge. We would have to call it wisdom, you know, if it was the same thing. So there has to be some difference, and in my opinion the difference is knowledge connected with love, you know. It's a very simple thing. And in that context, I want to talk to you about the experience with a person I knew that involved looking into the eyes. So this was a very overwhelming experience. So this is as it goes. I and a friend of me, we were sitting and talking. We were talking all night through, you know. It was just like, yeah, and in my childhood this happened and that happened, and yeah, we were just like really connected, you know. So this particular incident was, I also have to say, without any drugs or without any acid or having smoked or anything like that. So it's not like only a drug experience, if you want to consider it in that way. So I just want to rule that out, you know. So we were talking for a very long time. It was just like, yeah, we were talking half a day and then all the night through, and until daytime again, something like this. And then suddenly we were sitting in front of each other. Suddenly, for my conception, for my perception, everything disappeared. You know, it's just like someone like pushed a button and everything was gone. Like there was no table anymore, there was no ground anymore, there was no walls anymore, there was not the person I was speaking to. She just disappeared. You know, it's just like. But she didn't really disappear. You know, what occurred was that not only all of this stuff was gone for my perception, there was other stuff. You know, it was just like very fast moving spirals and energies, and I really couldn't make sense of it. You know, it's just like you walk on the street and finally there's a flying pink elephant that kisses you or something like that. It's like you really, I was really flashed. It was a flash somehow, yeah. And when I saw this, I just I just had very strong fear, you know, just like, what is going on, you know, somebody has turned the light off and another light on, you know. It was just like a total different experience. So I was very shocked and was like holding my hands to my face because, oh wow, what's going on? It's just like a straight reaction, you know. And exact at that point of time, the person I was talking to was experiencing the same thing. But she had a very different feeling about that. So I just tried to cover myself, and this is where the connection somehow was disrupted. And exactly at that moment, she was sitting like 1 meter away from me. You know, it was just like really only because of that movement she really was thrown back just like 20 centimeters or something like something like hit her, you know. And it's very funny because for her it was exactly the opposite, you know. She was just like feeling like she's being in nirvana and in heaven, and now it's done, and she's like in the spiritual realms or something like that. Yeah. And after this occurrence, we just asked ourselves what has happened. You know, it's just like, I mean, if I look at things, they just normally don't disappear and turn out to be something completely different, just like energy flowing stuff or something like that. So we really tried to find out how it comes, you know, that this optical vision occurred. So we, after some considerable talking, we discovered it had to do with how long you can look in somebody's eyes. You know, it's just like if you look at a person for long enough time, you will discover. So this is what we discovered. If you look into the eyes of a person for a long enough time, you will discover that the whole world disappears, you know, but it doesn't happen as that, you know. So there's certain things you would have to do to maintain that, you know. So my experience was you have to have no fear, you know, because this is what turns your eyes away from a person, you know. It's just like maybe it's very subconscious, maybe you think it has different reasons, but the actual reason is because you have fear. And we have discovered what this fear comes from, you know. So this is the reason why you look away. So you would have to have no fear at the first place, and at the second place you would have to not think. If you are in your mind, if you are saying these words to you all the time, that is just like gibberish, you know. So I don't know how you are about that, but sometimes the brain can give you a hard job, you know. So if you can get away from that consciousness of only being talking in your head, and if you can walk through the fear that comes, you know, I mean, you don't have to have another person for that experience, you know. You could sit in front of a mirror. It happens the same thing. I have tried it, it works, you know. Don't worry if you're about those flashy things, if you're interested in some other aspects of the reality. And this is my perception to this specific happening. Is just like, if you don't have fear and you look at things long enough and you allow your brain to do more things than you usually tell your brain to do, you can see additional information. You know, I think this is what happened at that time. So if you take a look at whatever it is for long enough, going through the fear without having fear looking at it, and if you really don't think, you will see the stuff. I tell you, you know, you just have to look long enough, and you just have to go through that fear. But it's possible, you know, and if you do that, you will discover what another person also looks like, but that triggers what you might also look like. So my experience is that people don't want to look at that thing because they don't want to realize that they're also more like not so dense as we perceive ourselves. You know, it's like not that we end at the surface of our skin. You know, and the different realities and interpretations that can be also given by your brain can be very confusing. You know, and but if you go through that fear, you will discover that that there is more to this reality than this mind consciousness construct we are currently living in. You know, so it's like it's like you are in a box, but it's like if you are in a box, but if you keep looking long enough at the wall, you can see through it. You know, it's not like the end. You know, it's like we decide ourselves to not perceive everything because we are afraid that we could be somehow like what we perceive, you know. But I only want to tell you, it's okay, you know. It doesn't matter, you know. So in my experience, we are a lot of beings, you know. So as I have come to hear, it is it is you have various incarnations in a lot of places that are really directly connected to you, and you can see all that shit if you look into the mirror. If you look at another person, you can see all those aspects that just are making it as a whole. You know, it wouldn't work if we wouldn't have all of the aspects. So we were told that we are very limited to our body, but I understand our body as a kind of gateway. You know, you can get everywhere and you can perceive every information, and it doesn't matter, you know. Nobody will judge you, nobody will haunt you for that, you know. You can go through that. And as far as I have perceived in that very specific occasion, it is very, very, very beneficial to have no fear, because the fear is only saying no. You know, you have certain experiences, and the world always turns out to be different than we thought, you know, and that's just the point, you know. You don't have to run away from your perceptions. On the long term, it will not be possible, but we feel these perceptions because we don't want to be like that, you know. So if you accept yourself to 100%, and that there is no thing that you would run away from, there's no thing that you would cut off yourself, then you are without fear, you know. Then you can perceive everything, and then everything will miraculously work out, as it did for me at that time, you know. So I had really had a few days and weeks where everything was just unfolding itself, you know. I don't have to do anything. I was given a lot of stuff, and I had wonderful occurrences, and in that time it was really like very right, that is very appreciable. I would say, just to give you a taste, or maybe you would love to try it. I would be honored. So if you can accept that you are diverse, and that you're consisting of many things, and that the things don't run in a very straight street in life, you know, that life is moving and everything. If you can accept that, you can be without fear, because fear is only what we project in things we don't know. But it's not about the things we don't know, it's only our projection in that things we don't know. But we don't need to project that, you know. It's just like, okay, maybe in the jungle it was useful, if you know what I'm saying, or at certain circumstances it would be good to have a certain amount of fear to save one's life, you know. But you don't need to do it all of the time, you know. It's not needed to have it all day long, you know. You can have a break from that, having fear, and then you will see a totally new world. So I hope you will enjoy me with having no fear. I thank you. That's that for today.